Arraignment of suspended Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele stalled. Court adjourns to August 23. Federal government approves 5 billion naira each as palliative for states. ECOWAS commissioner says most of West Africa ready to join standby force in Niger. On the foreign scene, 10 killed as light plane crashes into street in Malaysia. Hello and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I am Ayuba Ila. Thanks for joining. And now the details. Trial of suspended Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele over alleged 6.9 billion naira fraud was stalled on Thursday due to absence of the second defendant. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that Emefiele and his co-accused were to be arraigned before the FCT High Court on a 20-count charge. The report.
This is the public institution. You cannot do anything for us, please. Don't arrest any of our members here.
It was a cat race between journalists covering the case and DSS operatives that brought the accused to the court. The media men strive to professionally report happenings in the court, but on the other hand, the DSS operatives are bent at deploying crude means to shield the accused from the array of camera lenses.
It's all right. It's all right.
Do your job. Why hold him? Don't try that. Okay, you call for press conference. You see yourself.
Let's go and talk outside.
Stop that.
Inside the court, the proceedings could not go on due to absence of the second accused person. The trial judge, Justice Hamza Muazu, adjourned the case to the 23rd of this month for arraignment.
The second defendant was not made available. The second defendant was not in court. And it is right that all the defendants in a charge must be present to take their plea. And consequently, the complainant on its own requested for an adjournment for the arraignment to be done at a later date. And so we didn't oppose that application. Unfortunately, we are yet to see those charges. We've been served, but we are yet to read it. Our client was served late last night, and you'll agree with us that there is no way between last night and this morning that we will have digested the charge.
The suspended CBN Governor Emefiele was earlier arraigned before a high court in Lagos over alleged illegal possession of firearm upon the ruling of the Abuja High Court, which declared his continued detention without proper charge as illegal. The prosecution had replaced the initial charge with a 20-count charge bordering on procurement fraud. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, a federal high court in Lagos on Thursday struck out the criminal charges of illegal possession of firearms slammed by the federal government against suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. Justice Nicholas Owebo held that the prosecutor had not been diligent in prosecuting the case. The court held that the prosecutors had also disrespected the court by rearresting the defendant after granting bail. Emefiele was arraigned on a 2-count criminal charge over alleged unlawful possession of firearms. He pleaded not guilty to the charges filed by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation before Justice Nicholas Owebo. The federal government has approved 5 billion naira for each state to enable them to procure food items for distribution to the poor in their respective states. Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State disclosed this at the presidential villa in Abuja shortly after the National Economic Council meeting on Thursday. Thursday's development comes in the wake of the hike in the cost of food items and petroleum owing to the removal of subsidy on the commodity. According to him, the federal government also released 5 trucks of rice each to the 36 state governors. Explaining further, Governor Zulum said that the state governors are to procure 100,000 bags of rice, 40,000 bags of maize and fertilizers. He noted that 52% of the funds were given to the state governments as grants, while 48% is loan. President Bola Tinubu will on Monday, August 21, swear in the newly appointed ministers of his cabinet at the State House Conference Center, Aso Villa, Abuja. Director of Information, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Willie Basi, said this in a statement. President Tinubu had earlier named Wale Edu Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Bumi Tunji Ojo, Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adebayo Adelabu, Minister of Power, and former Governors Nyesom Wike as Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Atiku Bagudu as Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, among others. The statement said that the ministers designate to be sworn in are expected to come with 2 guests each. The Katsina State Police Command said it has killed 1 suspected bandit and recovered 60 rustled sheep alongside an AK-47 rifle in Korogo village of Dadara district in Jibia local government area of the state. 110 rounds of 7.62 mm live ammunition were also recovered as investigation continues. The hoodlums were said to have invaded the village early Wednesday, shooting sporadically. The Katsina Police spokesman, ASP Abubakar Sadiq, in a statement said that the command, through the DPO Jibia, upon receiving a report, mobilized a team of operatives to the scene and engaged the bandits in a fierce gunjo. He added that the bandits were forced to abandon their mission and scamper into the nearby bush. He noted that while combing the scene, the body of 1 neutralized suspected bandit, 60 rustled sheep, as well as 1 AK-47 rifle were with 110 rounds of 7.62 live ammunition were recovered. Still on security matters, the Military High Command on Thursday disclosed that no fewer than 3 officers and 22 soldiers were killed during the ambush on troops in Niger State. The Director of Defense Media Operation, Major General Edward Buba, who revealed this at the Defense Headquarters in Abuja during a press conference, also said that 7 troops were wounded by the terrorists. According to him, the incident prompted the deployment of crashed Nigerian Air Force evacuation aircraft, adding that 2 pilots and 2 crew members later became victims. He, however, vowed that no group could attack its troops and go scot-free, adding that 14 previously killed were in the jet during the crash. Earlier, the senior military officer told journalists that troops will continue to respond with overwhelming military force against any group that threatens the safety of citizens and own forces. Presidential candidate of Labour Party in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi, has reacted to the recent crash of the Nigerian Air Force M171 helicopter, which claimed the lives of officers and 18 soldiers. Obi, who said the unfortunate incident saddened him, lamented that the level of insecurity in most parts of the country has continued to embarrass and cost the nation precious lives and properties with attendant economic cost. He suggested that a full-scale investigation should be carried out to unravel the cause of the crash to prevent future occurrences. In a statement on his social media platform on Thursday, the former Anambra State Governor commiserated with the Nigerian Air Force over the painful incident and urged them and other security agencies not to be dispirited by the challenges. He also added that his heart is with the families of the gallant soldiers who lost their lives in the incident. The multinational Joint Task Force has commenced training on preventing and countering violent extremism in Jamena, Chad. From Difa town in Niger Republic, Adamu Ngulde reports that the training was designed for soldiers deployed to the operational area. The report.
The Force Commander Multinational Joint Task Force, Major General Ibrahim Sallau Ali, while declaring open the training, emphasized its importance in equipping participants with the necessary knowledge and skills to prevent violence extremism in the MNJTF area of operation. Major General Ali lauded the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center and other partners for their support in organizing the training.
Security business is not just for the military or the security agencies. It's for everybody. The civil populace have a lot to play in ensuring that we bring an end to this crisis. We need a lot of information from you, a lot of intelligence, a lot of support, understanding, so that together we can bring an end to this crisis.
In his address, the commandant of the Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Training Center, Major General Richard Ado Giani, who spoke on behalf of the training center, highlighted that the surge in terrorism activities in the Sahel region is largely driven by violence extremism, adding that it will enhance the capacity of participating troops to identify and prevent acts of violent extremism and ultimately contribute to the overall stability of the region. The training program will cover various aspects of countering violent extremism, including intelligence gathering, community engagement, and the promotion of peace and tolerance. From Difa town in Niger Republic, Adamu Gulde, Trust TV News.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, we take a look at measures to mitigate impact of flood in communities. Details and more after the break. Welcome back. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Let's take a look at the top stories once again. Arraignment of suspended Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele stalled. Court adjourns to August 2023. Federal government approves 5 billion naira each as palliative for states. In other news, a 22-year-old man in Osun State, Mustafa Adewale, has been arrested for allegedly raping a 3-year-old baby. A report was filed by mother of the baby, which prompted a police investigation that led to the confession by the suspect. Hamid Oegbade reports.
The unfortunate incident occurred at Garaji Olode in Ife South local government area of Osun State. The mother of the 3-year-old baby went out in the morning and left her little daughter under the care of her neighbor, Mustafa Adewale. But before the woman returned back home in the evening, Adewale raped the little baby. The suspect, who confessed to the crime, blamed devil for his action. The woman left her baby under my care when she went out. The baby was sleeping. When she woke up, I bought biscuit for her. Then I raped her. Meanwhile, men of the command's anti-kidnapping squad have rescued 2 herdsmen from kidnappers. The victims commended the police for their swift response. The kidnappers demanded 3 million naira from us and threatened to kill us if we failed to pay the money. So we reported to police. The police public relations officer for the Osun State Police Command, Yemisi Okpalola, said one of the kidnappers was neutralized during gun duel with the policemen. She condemned the rape of 3-year-old girl and assured that the suspect will face the full wrath of the law.
Meanwhile, we also rescue a kidnapped victim from the kidnapper, and the kidnapper was neutralized. We are able to do that, and we assure you that criminal elements are going to be rooted out of this command.
The PPRO said the little girl is responding to treatment in the hospital. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
The Vice-Chancellor of the University of Calabar, Florence Obi, has suspended and relieved Cyril Odifon of his position as Dean of the Faculty of Law. He has also been barred from entering the university campus except he is invited by the panel to be constituted to investigate various allegations of sexual assault against teenage female students. A letter dated 17 August 2023 and signed by the Registrar of the University, Gabriel Egbe, conveyed the suspension notice, which took effect immediately. The letter said Ndifon was suspended for alleged violation of the provisions of the extant laws and policies of the institution. Ndifon, the first professor of law from the state, was first suspended in 2015 by the school over similar accusations of sexually assaulting female students. A few days ago, female law students carried placards and protested on campus, calling for the removal of Ndifon. The letter said that his suspension came as the Vice-Chancellor was dissatisfied with his response to a query over the allegations. Stakeholders from flood-prone communities in Bauchi State are seeking ways of mitigating the impact of flooding in a reaction to the recent report of a possible flooding across 19 states of the Federation. The community is among the 8 local government areas of the state that are expected to witness heavy downpours, according to the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. Trust TV's Adamu Imam reports.
Recently, the National Emergency Management Agency reported 19 states could witness excessive rainfall. This has caused fear in flood-prone communities across the country, with Bauchi not left out. In view of this, the State Environmental Protection Agency identifies stakeholders from those areas to brainstorm on how to mitigate the lingering floods and also prepare to avert the impending danger of flooding. Baikinkura area is among the 56 communities that always suffered flooding for many years.
We have been complaining that was not how the place was before. Some of the mistake made was by the state government much earlier. If you can look at that area where they wrote Paris furniture, there was a very big culvert then where this water is dropping. We don't know their reason they block it.
We need expansion of the waterways here. As you can see, everywhere is flooded. We usually deposit sand to allow cars to pass through.
Government will send some people, either government or whatever organization, they will send some people. They will come, they survey, they measure, they will put something to know the depth of the whole thing. But after all, they will not come and do any other thing.
Traditional rulers also contributed to effort geared towards tackling the menace, as according to them, flood affects all human endeavor.
We were sure the issues that were discussed and agreed on will be highly attended to, and by the grace of God, things will be over and definitely go back to our communities and enlighten them.
During the focus group discussion, environmental experts spoke on how best flooding can be averted even before it occurs.
Usually, either within the rainy season or during the dry season, of course, we're going to help our communities to be really sensitized about how they can use the environment.
The community engagement entertains several opinions from members on how to achieve the desired objectives of mitigating the impact of flood throughout the state. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
On the foreign scene, the Economic Community of West African States says that most of its member states are ready to participate in a standby force that could intervene in Niger following a coup there late last month. Defense chiefs from the 15-member regional bloc met in Accra on Thursday as part of latest efforts to overturn the ouster of Mohamed Bazoum, Niger's president, who was deposed in a July 26 coup. ECOWAS Commissioner Abdel Fattah Musa said that on Thursday that all member states except those under military rule and Cape Verde are ready to participate in the standby force. The meeting to discuss Niger's crisis comes after an August 6 deadline passed for Machina's soldiers to release and reinstate Bazoum or face military intervention. Bazoum remains under house arrest with his wife and son in the capital, Niamey. The bloc has long deliberated on the use of force, which it described as a last resort, for weeks due to several mediation teams it sent to Niamey and also due to a lack of consensus within its ranks. Burkina Faso and Mali, which have experienced multiple coups since 2020, warned that any military intervention in Niger will be declared as an act of war, revealing a fracture in the region between its coastal countries and those in the volatile Sahel. Guinea, which is also under military rule and which has condemned any external aggression, has refrained from making any other comments. The top security body of the African Union met Monday to consider whether it will support military intervention, but has yet to make public its decision. A light plane crashed into a street in Malaysia's central Selangor state on Thursday, killing 8 people on board and 2 motorists on the ground. Local police chief Muhammad Iqbal Ibrahim and a former member of the Malaysian Air Force, Muhammad Hashim, both confirmed the crash. Other witnesses said that the Beechcraft model 390 burst into flames as it hit the ground in El Mina near Shah Alam. Now, a brief video shared on Twitter now known as X, showed fire and black smoke billowing from the crash site, which was covered with dark soot. Now, debris was scattered around and houses could be seen in the background. Police said that Johari Harun, a state assembly member in Central Pahang State in charge of housing and the environment, was among the plane passengers killed. Malaysia's Civil Aviation Authority said 6 passengers and 2 flight crew were on board the aircraft when it crashed. And in sports news, Medema scare ready to unleash new signing Kudakwashe Mahachi on Remo Stars in the CAF Champions League preliminary round first leg clash. The Ghanaian champions strengthening their team by recruiting Zimbabwe international Mahachi for their debut campaign in the CAF Champions League. The 29-year-old forward has been without a club since leaving Super Sports United in 2020. Mahachi registered over 20 goals in his 6-year stay in South Africa. He featured 6 times for Orlando Pirates in the CAF Champions League and has represented Zimbabwe 14 times. Medema SC will lock horns with Remo Stars at the Cape Coast Stadium on Saturday. And that's a wrap on Trust News Update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.